Well, Chima Nnaji joins us now. He's a legal practitioner, also a political analyst. Thank you for coming on this morning again, sir.
Thank you very much, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Same to you, too.
You guys are doing a nice job.
We do hope you. Thank you. We do hope you also end up happy for Nigerians at the end of the year, especially when you look at the events that have been scheduled for this year. So many in 2014, and it's a big year ahead of 2015 with all this politicking going on. Chief Clerk says, look, the first 6 months of this year is going to be very determining in what happens thereafter, given the activities packed in. You have so many, 2 elections coming on, you have the national conference bill to happen, it's all going to be tight. How do you see all of this working out?
Well, starting from last year, a lot of things had started happening, some of which will culminate if certain conditions expected, present themselves sometime this year, sometime later part of this year, and sometime early next year.
What kind of conditions would that be?
If you decided to bomb a cathedral, to kill a number of members of the congregation, the condition has to be that the bomb will explode. That means you have done a good job of the technical input in the bomb. 2, that you were not caught when you were placing that bomb in such a strategic location. And ultimately, that the members of the congregation worshipped in that cathedral that day. They did not go for a crusade within that period. These are conditions. And one of them snaps and the entire thing is aborted. A lot of people in this country are making so much trouble because it's natural. When you remove, if you watch babies, you think they are babies. If you remove the baby's mouth from the mother's breast, it complains very ceremoniously, very bitterly. It's for you to interpret that maybe that crying is because you have disengaged it from what probably is an interesting juice.
So is that the typology of what's playing out in our politics?
Everything, you can reduce everything to the atomic level. Everything has a basic. So all the ramifications and multifarious problems, they have basis. The basis is like everybody knows, is power. And it is not power for its own sake. It is power for the looker. All those things that are associated. There is a seek ye the kingdom of power in Nigeria, and every other thing shall be added unto you. You kill your enemy, you emasculate the ones you don't like, you ingratiate yourself. There are so many things that come with power. The only unfortunate thing with us in this country, that those people who have who have found themselves at the corridors of power were not prepared for that. And they did not do, or still are not doing anything to cultivate themselves.
It's becoming a recurring decimal.
Yes, let me give you a simple instance. From the time of Obasanjo, when it was a transition from the military, Nigerians knew what happened during the military era, where once you are appointed as military governor, you conquered the state. You could just bring in people. If you are from Taraba State and you are appointed governor in Lagos State, for example, then everybody you knew anywhere can come into Lagos and feast. You understand? So it was not so much about the people. Military, fine. We'll just take it, for granted that they are used to conquering territories and plundering the resources they found in that territory. But in a civilian government or supposedly democratic government, Obasanjo was a general in the army. Fittingly, he could be a transition man between the military to the democratic destination. So he could call his period a civilian transition period. Okay? Because you don't learn how to do things with your left hand at old age. And we saw it play out in everything Obasanjo did. His military strategies. And conquering. He never accepted anything defeat. It's either you are mowed down or you are shipped in.
Even as a civilian president.
Like I said, you can't change, the chameleon cannot change its color, except when it comes to the environment where it must take it up. So the point we are making is that it was under him that we had this do or die thing. And even if it was placed out of context, many Nigerians are now practicing it because some of them also lack cerebral content. Because it was that time that he recruited a lot of people. Even those who went to school decided to drop their certificates and forget all that they learned, so that they would play the foolish man that was expected of them in order to fit into the new structure. And it is now that we are reaping the negative vibrations. For example, what is happening to the presidency now is what the psychologists will call the recency effect. The recency effect. I'll give you a simple example, because by simple example, large things or complex things are understood, very well. If you just entered into a room where somebody who had just left that room had farted, and by farting I mean somebody passing flatus. In the Nigerian parlance, a mess, somebody messed, and that person perhaps had a full dose of beans over the past 24 hours and had not had the opportunity of going to toilet. That room would definitely not be the best place to stay. Then you simply dashed in to collect something only to dash out because you were chased away. And somebody else was also dashing in, and he found that that same place was so odious. Who do you think he will hold responsible? He says that man, the last man that I just saw, was the one who messed the room. You will need Jesus Christ to come and give testimony that you were actually not the person. That's a simple way of describing the recency effect. Extrapolate it to the current happening.
No, Mr. Nnaji, you know why some people will not agree with that? Even though I think I have an idea of how you're going to...
Let me just now put it in context.
Okay.
The point I'm now making is, they say the presidency is a continuum. Government is a continuum. The mess made before this government is now being taken out on the current government. Okay? I'm not an apologist of anybody, but I'm just putting things in their perspective. Therefore, if doctors go on strike on account of monies that have been owed for 10 years ago, it is government, federal government. If ASU goes on strike on account of degradation or whatever dilapidations we have in the educational sector, it is federal government. The man who is carrying the cup now must take responsibility.
Yeah, but the thing is this.
To that extent, we need to understand that this is what is happening. That is therefore not to say that the man who is carrying the cup now should raise it up and say, I wasn't the one who... He must find an intelligent way of addressing the issue while keeping in perspective for the people to understand we are all part of the solution set. You understand? We did not cause it. We have come here to solve the problem. How they do it is their problem.
But